Let's take a look at Photoshop's layers, layouts and presentation, but in the easiest way that I've found. Now, I've used these techniques many times in my audio-visual presentations using PTE AV Studio software. I'm going to begin by going to File, New, and setting up a new page, which is the 4K size, with white as the background contents. As soon as that's on screen, I want to bring up the rulers. You'll find them in the View menu, but if you hit Ctrl-R, a nice easy shortcut to remember, there's the rulers. Click inside the ruler and drag, and we can drag out a guide which will snap to the center of the artwork. And we can do the same from the left as well. Now, selecting the rectangular marquee tool, I'm going to click and drag here. I'm just going to guess this, a slightly narrower distance in the center point of the guide, something like, and that went a little wrong. Don't worry too much about that. Go down to the bottom right of your layers and click to create a new blank layer. Then we can flood that selection with black. Alt backspace will do that. Control D will remove the selection. Now, if I pick up my Move tool here, I can move this a little bit away from that center line and up a little bit. And I think that's not looking too bad. I've probably got too much on the right hand side. So let's bring up our free transform, Control T, hold the Shift key and just drag that back a little bit. Nothing scientific here, we're doing this quick and dirty. With the Move tool selected, if I hold the Alt key, see the cursor change? And if I click and drag on that square, I have a second square, which I can quite easily drop into place with the help of those pink guides, if it'll allow me to do it. That looks about right. I can do the same again, Alt, click and drag. And suddenly I've got the bottom one, and Alt, click and drag, and I've got the one on the right. Now, I'm working very, very quickly within a 5-minute video, but you can get these gaps here much more finely tuned if you just spend a little more time. But basically, we've got a piece of artwork here which we could save as a template. Now, if you look up on the top bar, you can see I've opened up 4 images to occupy the 4 spaces we have, but I only need to demonstrate one. So I'm going to drag this one out, and I'm going to drag the layers onto my artwork. Then I can close this down because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to drag this one down to occupy a position at the top left. You can see the square, and I'm going to hold the Alt key and move my cursor between the 2 layers, and it'll clip the image to the shape. But of course I need to now resize this. Control T will bring up our free transform tool. So I can click and drag. I can decide exactly how far I can go. I can't go any further than that, or I'll show some of the black, but I do get the opportunity to lift it up and down. But when I'm happy, I can hit the tick on the options bar. Now, we've got a number of choices here, but in the interest of speed, I'm going to select both of those layers, right click and merge them. Now I'm going to do the same with the other 3, identical to what I've just done here. So with the other 3 images done in exactly the same way, I've gone to my View menu and I've cleared the guides, and I've hit Ctrl-R once again to remove the rulers. Now let's add a little bit of style here. Let's select this image here. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the layers and the effects, blending options. Let's move it out of the way. What we're going to do here is maybe add a drop shadow. So we've got the opportunity to give it a direction and to decide on the intensity we want. I'll give it a fair intensity so we can all see it pretty clearly. I'm also going to go for a stroked line. I'll tick to apply it, but click alongside. 3 pixels on the inside in black looks pretty good. But of course, once I've done that, I've got to do that another 3 times. But here's the quick way. We can hold the Alt key and click and drag those effects from one image to the other. And there's our artwork complete. Now imagine other shapes and layout possibilities that you can possibly create, because they're almost endless in variety. We have the triptych shapes, of course, either in portrait format or maybe even square, and they always seem to have appeal. But we can also mix these shapes with oval shapes as well, perhaps allowing the oval shape to break into the straight edges. That does have some presentation appeal, I think. Now, all photographers are going to need some layout skills at some stage, and Photoshop layers, in my view, is a great way to go. I'll see you next time.